Hey, Hartford County. I'm Emily Adolph of The Soul Lift. You may remember me as a guest on Rich's podcast. Well, I'm back with something special.
And I'm Ona Crow. We're introducing Nourish and Connect, a gathering space designed to bring people together that feels authentic, supportive, and uplifting.
This is about real relationships, shared wisdom, and growth.
Our gatherings nourish with mindful experiences and reflective activities to leave you inspired.
And they're designed to connect with intentional conversations and welcoming community where you truly belong.
They're the second Wednesday of every month. Join us on April 9th at Doss Beer Hall in Bel Air from 5:30 to 7 p.m. to celebrate spring.
And mark your calendars for May 14th and June 11th. We have amazing experiences planned for summer.
Come as you are and let's grow together.
Hey everyone, it's Rich Bennett. Can you believe it? The show is turning 10 this year. I am so grateful for each and every one of you who've tuned in, shared an episode, or even joined the conversation over the years. You're the reason that this podcast has grown into what it is today. Together, we've shared laughs, tears, and moments that truly matter. So I want to thank you for being part of this journey. Let's make the next 10 years even better.
Coming to you from the Freedom Federal Credit Union Studios, Hartford County Living presents Conversations with Rich Bennett.
Slow pitch fast
It's probably the sexy part of work, and I don't know how to answer. It's okay. No. The truth is...
Today on Conversations with Rich Bennett, I'm honored to welcome two incredible guests who have dedicated their lives to making a difference in the autism community. Winde Surhoff, an internationally recognized swimmer and co-founder of Pathfinders for Autism, has spent decades advocating for families navigating the challenges of autism. Joining her is Becky Galli, a prolific author and columnist whose journey of resilience led her to co-found Pathfinders for Autism alongside Polly. As Pathfinders for Autism marks its 25th anniversary, we're diving into their mission, the impact they've made, and the ambitious new Community Connector campaign. How are you doing, ladies?
You're doing great. Thanks for having us.
Oh,
Absolutely.
My pleasure. When I started this podcast 10 years ago, one of the first people I wanted to get on was you guys.
I love that.
Or anybody from Pathfinders for Autism. And we love to talk about different things on here and raise awareness of things. I love talking to nonprofits, especially. And one of my co-hosts actually has kids. Actually, two of my co-hosts, I believe, have kids that have autism. And it's like, we have to talk more about this and raise awareness because, well, it's important, first of all. But I think, and you guys can hit on this later, but I think a lot of things have changed throughout the years, if I'm not mistaken. I think people with autism are accepted more, I believe. And as far as the research goes, a lot more has happened. I'm hoping so, but you two are the experts on that. So what inspired you both to actually co-found Pathfinders for Autism?
Do you want to start or you want me to start?
You start.
Okay. So Mason, BJ and I have 4 children. Our second born son was born with autism, and he was diagnosed at 2.2, so 2 years, 2 months. And we went through a lot of navigating, trying to find what to do with him and how to best serve somebody on the autism spectrum developmentally at 2.5 years of age to 3 years old. Mm-hmm. I found a therapy that worked for Mason. And when we moved to Baltimore, Mason was in a inclusion situation at an elementary school near where we lived. And in his backpack, I put a note. And the note was asking the parents in this class to come to my home and learn about the therapy that had been successful for Mason.
Oh, wow.
And you had to find out about it through a friend, which we've talked about in the past.
Right.
And all the parents in Mason's class came to my home and learned about this therapy, started it. And one of them was Becky. And she implemented it with Madison, and it was successful with her as well. And finding out that, there had to be other parents in Maryland that needed some information.
Mm-hmm.
So from that, with other parents, we started Pathfinders for Autism.
And that was 25 years ago. And Mason at the time was, you said 2.2?
So this interaction with the flyer, Mason and Madison are now 32 years old. And so they were 5 when we met.
Mm-hmm.
So this interaction happened a little bit more than 25 years ago.
Okay.
The evolution of Pathfinders starting was 25 years ago.
So I remember it well because Madison brought home it was a yellow flyer in her Barney backpack.
Oh,
and
Barney.
And BJ was playing ball, alongside Cal Ripken. It was a great time. And my daughter Brittany was a huge fan. She was older, 6. I had 4 children as well. Madison was my third child. And so when she came home with this flyer to go to BJ Surhoff's house, I'm like, we are in. And by the way, maybe we'll learn something for my daughter.
Yeah.
But the truth is, we were desperate. Madison was nonverbal at that time. She was 5 years old. I'd had her in every kind of therapy that was available traditionally, whether it be a specialized school, a specialized speech therapy I'd learned about through my doctor. But then we get this flyer about something different I'd never heard of from Polly. Mm-hmm. And so we went to that session, met other family members and other parents in that classroom, learned about this therapy, started using it with Madison, and she began to speak. And so she learned, her name, her address, her phone number, her colors, her shapes, all because of this bold move of this lady to share what she'd learned. And it's like, we've got to do that. We've got to share what we learn. Yeah. And in 1997, this is 1997, the internet was just becoming around. There wasn't a Google. There wasn't social media. There wasn't a way to really learn. So we said, we got to put an organization together to share what we've learned. And that's how
it started.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And so that 25 years ago.
Yes. Yeah. We incorporated in 2000.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Mason's on the board, right?
Mason?
Yeah. Is he on? He's not on?
No,
I thought
he works
on...
for Pathfinders. He does volunteer work. He does data entry.
Oh, so, okay. So he's part of the staff.
Yes, he's a volunteer at Pathfinders. He works there once a week.
Okay.
And he works for Neil and Trish on the resource side of Pathfinders.
And what about Madison?
Madison is still very limited, although we had many of the same services. She can't read or write or ever be left alone. Mm-hmm. And since my paralysis, also in 1997, I've had to get specialized care for her, and now she's thriving in a group home with a day program. It's local. I get to see her whenever I want to, and I think that's really about what it's what we're about is. Yeah. It's a spectrum disorder that needs a spectrum of services, and so we're here to make sure that happens for the population, no matter how they're impacted.
Right.
So how have you guys seen the organization evolve over the past 25 years?
Oh, my gosh. We would have never imagined this in my home, where this would have taken us. I mean, we're the largest organization in the state of Maryland serving people with autism and their families. But, the programs are so diverse. We train first responders. We have free family fun events.
Oh.
It's just so much information out there to give, and everything we do is for free.
Right.
So I had a text message from a really good friend whose son is on the autism spectrum, same age as Johnny and Madison. She works at a local hospital. One of our our trainers from Pathfinders was training the staff over at this hospital. And I got a text because my friend was in the training. She said, what a great job, they're doing, training the nurses, the frontline, EMTs, police. And then, in the next minute, we have 800 some odd people come to the Science Center for free with their children on the autism spectrum. So
wow,
it's just grown so exponentially. And, we could sit here and tell you the numbers, but they're changing every day.
Right.
And who we serve is just so diverse. It's not only people on the autism spectrum and their families, but people who interact with our individuals on the autism spectrum.
Which is important. Yeah.
Very important. Very important.
So with Pathfinders for Autism, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys are still strictly in Maryland, right?
Yes.
We are. Our base is in Maryland. It's a statewide organization,
right.
But we do have a huge, very helpful website that people from all over the world can access.
Yeah.
So we'll never refuse a call from anyone, but our services are actually provided in Maryland.
Do you know if there's any other organizations like you guys anywhere else in the States or in the world, for that matter?
We're not quite sure. I know there's organizations that provide information, resources, whether they're training first responders and doing all of the amount of the broadness of our services, as well as activities. And I'm not quite sure.
Actually, tell everybody why it's so important to train the first responders.
You can elaborate on that.
Well,
if you don't mind.
Well, the first responder, yeah. So that's where we call it the rubber meets the road. That where you've got a legal professional, an authority, someone in charge here that is at a traffic stop stopping someone that might have autism, and to train them on, they might not be able to process information or process a conversation as quickly as someone else might. And one of the trainings we give is the ping pong ball training, where you've got the answer to a question in a jar of ping pong balls. And when you ask the question, you've got to wait and search for the answer out of the ping pong balls, and to give them a sense of that's how long processing takes for a lot of the people on the autism spectrum to grab that answer.
Right.
And so to be more, it's not that they're being disrespectful. It's not that they don't understand the question. It just takes a moment for them to process what they hear and think through how to best answer. And when we train the emergency room folks, it's like, your next patient has autism. Are you ready? That's the lead question. And perhaps people can respond written, but not be able to talk.
Right.
Then the option of another way to communicate. So those kinds of things just heighten their awareness and give them some other tools for interaction besides the traditional way that you would talk.
So do you guys actually offer workshops and everything as well?
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
So, and when you mention that, especially with the emergency room thing, now I'm thinking of businesses. Do businesses send employees to any of these workshops? Because I think it's very important for employees and business owners to be able to, know how to communicate with somebody with autism, or if somebody wants to work there, or if somebody is working there for autism.
Well, we provide the trainings in the hospital to the law enforcement. And if businesses would like a training like that, absolutely, we can create one for those.
But even going into a restaurant, like we've trained staff in restaurants how to, navigate taking an order from somebody that with delayed processing. Somebody like Mason, for example, he talks, but for him to tell a waiter or waitress what he wants for dinner off a menu, there's a delay. There's like a 3, 4, 5 second delay. And then he starts saying it. But if they say, sorry, it starts back over again.
Right.
So there's a way, there's a cadence that is specific just to Mason, but if they're aware that the population is around, I mean, it really, going back to the frequency of autism, it's not a matter of how many people have autism. It's just a matter of when are you going to meet them and what are you going to do? My biggest fear when it comes to the emergency is that I'm by myself a lot with Mason, in the car. And if something were to happen to me in an accident and he was still awake and conscious, there's through this safety program at Pathfinders, we have placards on our cars that say occupant with autism. And in the glove box is a full description of what Mason can tolerate and what he can't, like turn off the sirens. He can tolerate the lights, but he can't tolerate sirens. You got to speak to him clearly. This is his name. He has an ID bracelet, what his medications are, and it goes on and on and on. But to have that little piece of information for a first responder, if there's a chance that I'm left without able to help him.
Yeah. Not to get off subject here, but I play Santa professionally. And the one place we do it, we have a gentleman there that has autism. And this is something I've told other Santas that, because, we all have our own circle. But, when you have people with autism, even Down syndrome, anything like that, you have to learn how to communicate with them. And I'll never forget the first year this young man came, he didn't want nothing to do with Santa. We had Frosty out front. He was happy to give Frosty fist bumps, but he would not come up and talk to me. So I had to keep my distance. And then the following year, he came a little bit closer. Yeah. This year, I got the fist bumps and everything. But it made me feel so good. And you have to have patience.
That's exactly right.
Yes. And I had to laugh because people were saying, Rich, he's got autism. You just can't rush it. I said, I know how to deal with it. Yeah. And I look forward to seeing him every year.
Well, that patience is so important. When Madison we were trying to, another thing that we have trained in the past is dentists. And how to get her comfortable going to the dentist. And so we had this dentist that wanted to work with us, was extremely patient. And the first time we would go to the dentist office, all we did was go and sit in the chair. Madison sat in the chair and and then the next time we came in, sat in the chair, opened the mouth with the light in the mouth. The next time we came in, opened the mouth, light, and then he would count her teeth, just count them. Yeah. And then the next time he was able to clean them. And since he went through that graduated process, she didn't mind going to the dentist at all. He didn't force anything. He didn't make it, uncomfortable for her. He met her where she was. And I think that's so much about what we try to do is kind of level that field that you meet them where they are.
Yeah.
So you can understand who they are. That's the awareness piece. Yes.
Thanks, Becky. I don't have any tissues next to me.
Yeah, he was great.
I just love to hear the stories. You're listening to Conversations with Rich Bennett. We'll be right back. I want to give a huge shout out to a key player behind the scenes of the show, Freedom Federal Credit Union. Running a podcast involves more than just microphones and stories. It requires solid financial management. And that's where Freedom Federal Credit Union comes in. They're not just a credit union. They're a community partner that I trust deeply. Their support helps us keep bringing you the stories you love episode after episode. And what really sets Freedom Federal Credit Union apart is their dedication to local businesses. They offer everything from business loans to incredible resources, ensuring companies like mine thrive. And it's all wrapped in top-notch customer service. So if you're a business owner looking for a financial institution that supports your goals and invests in our community, I can't recommend Freedom Federal Credit Union enough. Swing by their site at freedomfcu.org or give them a call at 1-800-440-4120. Speaking of stories, can you, besides Madison or Mason, can you share a feel-good story of somebody that you guys have helped or even a family? And you don't have to use names.
That we have personally helped, or the organization?
The organization.
Oh my gosh.
I know there are several.
I guess mine is going to be, I keep going back to, it's not a specific person, but we rent out or take over the aquarium for our families once a year, and they come for free. And Mason and I, so that service of the free family fun events, that's my, I really think those are important. And Mason and I went one year. It was, the ever popular wintry mix here in Baltimore. It was sleeting, raining, and snowing. And the line out the aquarium waiting to get in, it went all the way around past the the flagpole, back down to the harbor. I was like, and people were waiting to get in. They finally got in, and Mason and I went in as well. And I'm just standing there thinking, the need is so great. These people, all they want to do is come to the aquarium with their children for free, but at the same time, in a sensory-friendly situation, a place that normal kids could go any day of the week and be fine. But here, and I'm standing there thinking, God, this is incredible. How many people are coming in? The children are enjoying the time. And then there's one, having a difficult time, but the other parents are like, it's okay. They'll come around any minute now. That kind of camaraderie of, for lack of better words. But the impact, if that flyer hadn't happened, whether these people would be able to go to the aquarium or the science center or any of our free family fun events. So it's not really a particular person, but I do think the families the moments of that, like that.
And we've had a lot of feedback from that too, just parents being relieved that they could kind of safely take their child somewhere, that if they had an upset, everybody would be like, oh, well, they're having a bad moment. And it's not such like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with your child? It's like, that's just part of their life with autism.
Yeah.
And they're very comfortable with that and creating that comfort area. It's a wonderful thing to feel like that you've been a part of that in some way.
Yeah.
So throughout the 25 years, what milestones actually really stand out to you guys?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's a lot of years. I think, just making it 25.
Yeah.
We celebrated 20, unfortunately, during the pandemic type. And the
fundraiser we did.
We had an amazing fundraiser then.
During the pandemic?
During the pandemic, we did an gala.
Yeah.
And it was all internet and live feeds. And it was in my house. It was like every.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. BJ would jumped out of an airplane.
What?
Yeah.
On tape, but no, it was silly. But, we just, I guess also implementing the safety portion of our platform. That safety initiative is just huge. And that has actually, come up just at the same level as resources for Pathfinders. It's just so important.
Yeah.
And, we started out our claim to fame when we first started was you will have an actual person to talk to, that will pick up the phone and you can talk to this person. Nobody else had that. It was all research in libraries because there wasn't the internet not a real resource, but you could talk to a person. Yeah. It was huge. And then we were able to hire, gradually more and more staff. And then we did the police training where we were out training police all over Maryland for that. And then the first responders. So there's been these waves of what other communities can we serve with what our goal is to make people aware and make people prepared to deal with those on the spectrum.
So tell us about this Community Connector campaign.
So Becky and I, we know a lot about it, but we don't know everything about it.
Right.
So we're expanding to various parts of Maryland, the Community Connector. So, like Western Maryland, all the way down to the ocean. We're going to try to have satellite areas, satellite offices,
right,
where we can serve a broader population, broader amount of people in these areas away. We're not leaving Baltimore.
Right.
Most of our resources and our the hotbed for Pathfinders is right around the Baltimore metro area. We're going to try to expand out from the mountains to the sea.
And it's in 3 particular areas. We focus on safety programs. They can focus on community, and we focus on resource. So those are the 3 areas that we'll have expertise in currently, and we serve the state currently. We're just going to try to strengthen those and provide on-site staff to help with that. But it's a rollout program, but we got to gear up and raise a lot of money first.
Well, actually, something very important, and I'm glad you said that, Becky. Usually I wait till the end, but I want to get it out now. Tell people how they can donate.
Well, we have so it's our 25th anniversary, which we've covered, and we have a specific website for the 25th anniversary. It's pfa25.org.
And that's the number 25, not 25 spelled out.
Correct. pfa25.org. And it'll direct them directly to our new website. Our old website, our resource side, our regular website is still very much active. But this new PFA one has, like, the front page has a video of BJ telling about our new campaign. And then on the About page, there's a video of Becky and I of how Pathfinders started. It has all our wonderful events that are going to be coming this year, a great way to donate. Just one click of a button and you get many choices of what to donate towards. So it's a very, very rigorous website. It has our, from where we started, meaningful events for the last 25 years. So
it's a good looking
really
website.
Cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
And our new logo is even cooler.
Wait a minute.
It's got a little path in there.
Yeah.
That's the path to possibilities.
Yeah.
That's what we're about. We're possibility driven.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That's a new logo?
Well, with the 25, yeah. And the little swishy path. Yeah.
Oh, for some reason, I always thought the little path was there.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the path was there in the original logo.
Yeah. Our original
Okay.
logo was pretty rigorous.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a lot.
Yeah. And then we've evolved through the years. We're a little retro there. We got to pay homage to the path.
Yeah.
Okay. So besides donations, how can people of the community or communities help you guys, help Pathfinders?
Well, donations are great, but
Right.
also if people want to have an event, second, I forget what it's called, something events, the events where, like, let's say, like a restaurant wants to have all the proceeds from that night go back to Pathfinders. We have a local restaurant here in Hunt Valley that's opening his restaurant for a full week, and all the proceeds goes to Pathfinders, doing 2 signature cocktails all summer. So, I mean, like these smaller events keep the word going. And anybody that wants to do that, we're appreciative. There's some Ravens Roosts that do events for us. It's a whole wide range of things people could do.
You guys, from what I've seen throughout the years, you have a lot of love from the community.
Well, we love the community.
Yeah.
Like, it's reciprocated.
Yeah.
We feel the need. And when we supply the need, the information that we have, the community receives it and gives back to us.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a financial thing, but our true and blue families that, like, I keep going back to these free family fun events, but the ones that keep showing up are so appreciative. And when you feel that appreciation and you hear the positive responses, that's what keeps us going.
Yeah. So how do you see, oh, I'm sorry, Becky, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say we also have volunteer opportunities as well. We have our Pathfinders run, which is coming up in September.
Mm-hmm. At the zoo.
At the zoo. And so that's a 5K and a 3K walk. And people can, be a part of that, participate in that, volunteer at that. And also the golf event probably is involved.
Yeah.
And pickleball volunteer events for that as well as participation.
Yeah.
Wait, so you guys jumped on the pickleball wagon and now you have a pickleball tournament?
Ask her all that.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm a great observer.
Yeah. So BJ, we've had a golf tournament, I guess, 20 years now.
Right.
Which BJ is pretty much runs with a really nice committee. And then pickleball. We started pickleball 2 years ago and it's taken off. I have a great committee behind me and support with that. And we do it on the same day as the golf tournament. So it's a lot of people and a lot of energy.
Do you do it at the same place?
Yes.
Okay.
This year's at Woodhome. It's May 19th.
Right.
And we're looking forward to it.
And all the events people can find, is that going to be on
that
PFA?
Is not. So if you go on our Pathfinders website, go into events, you can find those. And then there's events specific to the 25th anniversary on the PFA25.org website. Okay. And then I'm going to go back though to our run. So our run is really well subscribed, but therein lies also that when families come to our run, they get free admission to the zoo. So it kind of parlays into our free family fun events.
And those of you listening, don't worry. They don't let the animals out to chase you to make you run faster.
Well, they bring animal ambassadors out to show everybody. Yeah.
Really?
You just can't bring your own animals in. Yeah. We do have people that have showed up with dogs and they've had to go home.
Oh, yeah, that would not be good.
Yeah, no.
That would not be good at all. So how do you see autism awareness and advocacy changing in the future?
Okay, so that's a good, she's going to probably elaborate better than I am, but now autism awareness is now autism acceptance. And that acceptance piece becomes part of the awareness piece. So now everybody's saying autism acceptance because if you're open-minded, you're patient, you are willing to learn, then you're going to be able to accept this difference. Whereas it used to be awareness was just learning about it. It's now you accepting it. And
I love that.
So that is a new thing that's worldwide. Autism acceptance, like April's Autism Acceptance Month.
I didn't know that either. See, I told you I was going to learn some stuff from you too.
Yeah.
I love that, the autism acceptance, because we've talked about this before. Remember, I mentioned Down syndrome. One of the things that term disability, I don't like. So we say differing abilities, because you can learn so much from anybody, I believe. But go ahead, Becky, you were going to elaborate on that.
No, I think that's really what is moving from awareness to acceptance, which just makes it, again, where the rubber meets the road. These are, I'm aware of it, but what does it mean when you meet somebody?
Right.
And what does it mean to engage with somebody? What does it mean to participate in their life or have them participate in yours? What accommodations might you have to make?
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the next big hurdles to overcome that you guys see?
For us personally?
Well,
for Pathfinders.
No, not for you two. I mean, for Pathfinders. I know what yours is, Polly. You would just want to be able to win at the pickleball, right?
No, I'm not winning anytime soon. I'm a fun player. I'm not a competitive player. So I think for Pathfinders is just staying true to ourselves, but also expanding.
Mm-hmm.
And with the expansion of, spreading out through the state of Maryland, got to raise money.
Yeah.
That holds true to every organization like ours. And, we just hope to continue to serve our population the best we can.
Amen.
I like the way she adds to that. Okay, so probably my second to last question. If you could go back and give yourselves advice at the start of the journey, what would it be?
Hold on.
Mm.
It was just so unexpected that it would be that helpful and last this long. And I just think we kept leaning into possibilities and trying to stay true to helping people. That's what Polly did to me. She shared what she learned. Mm-hmm. And I think we're becoming more knowledgeable as we expand throughout the state, and we're going to share what we learn. Mm-hmm. We're going to share it in ways that it can be actionable, that we learned something and what can we do to put that into action.
I love that. And so my last question for both of you, what's been the most rewarding part of your involvement with Pathfinders for Autism?
Just the whole evolution of it.
Yeah.
Who would have, I'm going back again. Who would have thunk we got from a flyer in a backpack, going home in Barney backpack, that we would grow to be this big, serving this many people, mm-hmm. but also the awareness of and acceptance of autism has grown since Madison and Mason were diagnosed.
Yes.
I mean, bad subject, but when Mason was first diagnosed, we were told to put him in an institution and forget about him. And, that wasn't good enough for me. And the resources weren't there for me. So I had to find them. I peeled back the layers. So for it to come this far with the world accepting autism in the way it has, and Pathfinders growing, I think that's just been so gratifying.
And for me, it was the assurance that I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Right.
And to hear another parent share something and then see a community of other parents struggling too, and to find something that worked. And through each stage, I'm not alone with worrying about my child when they go to the dentist or when they get a haircut or when they're in the emergency room, then I'm not alone with that. And that we have this kind of repository of experiences through Pathfinders that we can tap into. Mm-hmm. It's the person on the phone, but now it's on Facebook and social media and the internet, and what we learn, we share, we turn it around. And for people with early diagnosis, you are not alone. Yeah. You are not alone.
Yeah. Is there anything either of you would like to add?
Just thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah. Thank you. And the door's open. Anytime you guys or anybody else from the organization wants to come on, it's
Thank
open.
You. Appreciate it.
I want to definitely get the word out more. I learned so much from, and it's the weird thing is a lot of times, and I've noticed this throughout my 30 years of life. Yeah, right.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I'm even more. I had a birthday last week.
But I mean, there's a lot of times you could be standing next to somebody and not even know that they have autism.
Yes.
And which one of the things I always tell my kids, no matter what, you see somebody, smile at them. Mm-hmm. And because you could you could make their day, first of all, but learn about everybody as well. Yeah. And I just keep thinking of that young man. I cannot wait for Christmas again to see him again. And some other ones that I know of. I look forward to seeing them all the time, and even the one, people with different abilities, period. Cause I learn so much from them. So I want to thank you both once again. And like I said, the door is open. And those of you listening, make sure you go to pfa25.org. That's pfa25.org.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and donate. And if they need volunteers, volunteer, because time is valuable too. A lot of times time is more valuable than money. And look for the events coming up. Pickleball, baby. And no swim competition?
No.
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 All right, we'll stick with the pickleball.
Yeah, we'll stick with pickleball.
Yeah, I think
get more people to do that as opposed to swimming.
Well, yeah, I can understand. Pickleball's growing; it's big time. I think it's becoming bigger than cornhole.
Yeah.
Thanks, ladies.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for listening to Conversations with Rich Bennett. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something from it as I did. If you'd like to hear more conversations like this, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps us reach more listeners and share more incredible stories. Don't forget to connect with us on social media or visit our website at conversationswithrichbennett.com for updates, giveaways, and more. Until next time, take care, be kind, and keep the conversations going.